2 years, that's usually when a smartwatch starts to feel its age. They get slower, they get clunkier, and you're lucky to make it through a single day on one charge. So after barely taking this one off my wrist for the past 2 years, the question I really want to answer is simple. Is the Galaxy Watch Ultra still worth it today? Well, the answer to that is largely made up of these 7 key battery observations that I've made about the Galaxy Watch Ultra after using it for almost 700 days. And first, Samsung doesn't make this info easy to track down, but it's the battery health. After digging through the developer settings and scouring the system logs, my Ultra is currently sitting at 100%. Now, take those numbers with a pinch of salt, but this is after calibrating the watch 3 times and it's still giving me 100% battery health. After 2 years, that is an incredible longevity indicator, and I can't believe them because my S25 Ultra also finished a year of usage with 100% battery health. But honestly, I'd love to know what you're sitting at, so go into your developer settings, get the dump state, and go through it and check what battery health you've got and put it in the comment section. Anyway, this battery health number leads me straight on to point number 2, and that's that the Ultra's battery might look a little bit underwhelming on paper, but in the real world, even after 2 years, it's more than enough. My typical average is 2 full days and a night of sleep tracking, even with a run thrown in, and frequently I'm still seeing it stretch into that 3rd day, which honestly I still can't believe. Which brings me on to my next point, and that is very simply, I'm absolutely convinced that the Ultra's battery has actually improved over time. I know full well that batteries are supposed to degrade and get worse, not better, but over the past 6 to 8 months, the frequency of it creeping into that 3rd day has definitely shot up. Whether that's a software optimization or something else entirely in my day-to-day use, is genuinely better than when I first got the watch. That being said, it's not all good news. There's still 4 battery points that have actually disappointed me with the Galaxy Watch Ultra, and the first one is the charging speeds. While I'm fine with the battery life as a whole, a lot of people rightfully aren't, and that's made worse by how slow this thing is to juice up. By today's smartwatch standards, the Galaxy Watch Ultra is lagging way behind, taking up to 1 hour and 40 minutes for a full charge. Fast charging just can't come fast enough on the Ultra 2. And point number 2 is one that I honestly thought I'd never whinge about again, and that is simply that I miss wireless power sharing. Since the S26 Ultra's battery life has got even better now, there have been a few times where I would have loved to have topped my Galaxy Watch Ultra straight up from the back of my phone. It's such a small quality of life thing, but you really notice it when it's gone. My third point is the always on display. This is something that I've heavily defended Samsung on when people have complained about battery life in the past, because it's a feature that you don't strictly need to have on. But when you go into your Galaxy Watch settings and realizing at times it's taking up to 55% of your battery life away, I mean, that's something that really needs work. For my 4th battery life whinge, I'm going to completely contradict myself here, but it's how the Galaxy Watch Ultra's battery life compares to other smartwatches on the market. I still maintain that if you've got a predictable charging routine, the Galaxy Watch Ultra's battery life is absolutely fine. It's even beating the Apple Watch Ultra 3, but when I'm testing budget smartwatches like the Mi Bro GS Pro 2, which has a lot of the same features for around $70, albeit not working quite as well, it really makes you stop and think, because that's got 20 days of battery life. Having tested other smartwatches with similar abilities, it makes me almost certain that Samsung could have pushed the battery life of the Galaxy Watch Ultra by at least another day or 2. That all being said, here's my final verdict on the real-world battery life of the Galaxy Watch Ultra. If the battery life is the one thing that's stopping you from a Galaxy Watch Ultra, don't let it get in the way. Even a quick half-hour top-up each day is going to keep this thing charged up indefinitely. So if you're not going out on crazy adventures off-grid, this watch is going to be absolutely fine. And I do want to continue this positive trend, despite being a little bit conflicted about the battery life and the charging. There's 7 really great reasons that I believe the Galaxy Watch Ultra is still worth it in 2026 and beyond. And the first one is the thing that matters the most for a watch that you've owned this long, and that is the real-world durability. This is truly a smartwatch that you rarely have to worry about. I've taken it sea swimming, I've taken it running in the pouring rain on many occasions, and I've even taken it into a sauna several times, and it's never failed me. 2 years of genuine abuse and it's still ticking away. Although I'll admit, and I'll come back to this later, it hasn't come out completely unscathed. Before that though, my second reason to buy the Galaxy Watch Ultra is the absolutely phenomenal feature set you get with it. And this is where the Ultra, for me, really does show its hand. Yes, it might be a bit behind on battery, but there's a good reason for that. It packs so many genuinely useful health features and smart features into a single watch. And these are the ones that I think are worth talking about. body composition analysis, vascular load, and the new antioxidant feature, which after One UI 8.0 actually measures your carotenoid levels in your skin. Alongside these other metrics, it's a great nudge to eat better. Another great feature is blood pressure monitoring, something you can do from your wrist. Now, the catch with that though is that you must have a Samsung phone for it to work, and in some regions it's still not quite up and running yet. But still, for some people, that's an absolutely incredible feature to have on a smartwatch. On top of the health stuff though, there's Google Gemini, making and receiving calls, controlling your smart home through smart things, and even the pinch gesture, which is still pretty awesome. All of these features and more are genuinely useful, and in my opinion, it makes the Galaxy Watch Ultra one of the most feature-packed smartwatches on the market at the moment. My third point is the watch faces that you get. Compared to the likes of the Apple Watch ecosystem, the freedom and customization options that you get with the Galaxy Watch Ultra are completely unmatched. The Play Store gives you a huge library of free and paid designs that make it genuinely fun and keeps your watch feeling brand new each time. And the apps behind a lot of those watch faces also deserve a point of their own, because fourth is the app selection that you get, and it is improving fast with more developers coming to the scene. Google also fixed the huge issue where watch face apps actually stopped working on the Galaxy Watch Ultra, but they're back now, and there are some genuinely great ones out there with a solid selection of free faces or a subscription model that makes things significantly cheaper. The watch faces I'm currently showing off are from the Rich Face app, and some of them are even free. I'll put a link in the pinned comment for you if you want to get them for yourself, since you'll most likely ask. And just quickly, whilst I've got you here, a lot of you have been watching my Galaxy Watch content for a while. If you didn't know already, I've just gone full time, so if you could help me out by leaving a like and subscribing to the channel, that'd be amazing. Also, please do consider becoming a channel member to help support independent reviews, and you'll get yourself a fancy badge for the comment section. Anyway, my fifth reason I think the Galaxy Watch Ultra is still worth it is the screen. The larger display is super practical and really glanceable, and with that 3000 nits of brightness and the super AMOLED panel, I can read it in direct sunlight halfway through a run without having to squint. Even now, it's still keeping up with some of the more recent flagship smartwatches out there. Samsung really know what they're doing when it comes to displays. And my sixth point kind of leads on to this, and that's actually the rugged design, which I do genuinely love. I think it looks just enough like a traditional timepiece to not feel out of place, but it's still got plenty of character to stand out from the crowd. And the massive part of why I'm highlighting the design here is actually the 3-button layout. That's the absolute sweet spot for me. And to make it even better, Samsung have actually made these 3 buttons completely remappable, so you can pretty much do whatever you want with them. And this all brings me neatly onto my 7th point, which I know is going to be a controversial one, but I'm going to say it anyway, and that is the real-world accuracy of the Galaxy Watch Ultra. And real-world are the 2 words I really want to focus on, because of course we can hook people up to loads of wires in a lab and test the accuracy that way, but what I think really matters to me, and should matter to you too, is can you make a measurable difference to your life using the data from the Galaxy Watch Ultra? And the answer for me, that I think I've proved on 2 occasions, is very much yes. The first thing that I did with the Galaxy Watch Ultra was lose over 30 kilograms of weight, and I was relying on metrics from things like the body composition analysis and all the workout data. And the second thing that I did was drastically improve my cardiovascular abilities. I went from barely being able to finish a 5K to being able to run out my door and do a half marathon in less than 2 hours any day that I want. And this proves to me categorically that the Galaxy Watch Ultra's data is not only reliable, but it's actionable as well. Now, as clearly happy as I am, this does not mean that Samsung are out of the woods, because there's 8 key things that have actually really disappointed me about the Galaxy Watch Ultra after almost 2 years of usage. And the first one I'm going to tell you actually flatly contradicts one of the first points I made, and that's the durability. On paper, it's been brilliant, and I literally just praised it, and it's not so much a durability issue, it's more of a build quality issue. 2 years in, the buttons are starting to feel much less secure, and there are signs of wear and tear over the front, which is to be expected from a rugged smartwatch after 2 years, which has been all over the place. But it does highlight one key thing for me, and that is Samsung's decision to mix titanium with cheaper materials like rubbers and plastics probably wasn't the right one. Point number 2 is a bit of a personal one, but one that I thought was worth sharing with you, and that is the size of the Galaxy Watch Ultra. This is something that I praised initially, and I do love having a larger smartwatch despite having smaller wrists. But since the Galaxy Watch 8 Classic came out and I put that on my wrist, the lighter, smaller feel of that, honestly, it felt way more comfy compared to the Galaxy Watch Ultra. So Just something to bear in mind. The third thing that's disappointed me about the Galaxy Watch Ultra isn't anything to do with this Galaxy Watch Ultra, but rather the 2025 Galaxy Watch Ultra. In my opinion, it was a complete waste of time and money. I just don't understand why Samsung put it out. There's barely any difference to the 2024 one. Don't get me wrong, I'm not hating on the people that bought a 2025 Galaxy Watch Ultra. Obviously, if you're in the market, you go for the latest one. You've got a little bit of extra storage there. But equally, it felt really lazy and almost like Samsung were ripping people off, because at the time, you could get the 2024 Galaxy Watch Ultra way cheaper than the 2025 version. My fourth pain point is the raise to wake gesture. Now, I'm convinced that it's actually got worse and become less reliable over time. More often than not, I have to flap my arm around several times to see the display, and the most frustrating part about this for me though is it's happening when I'm running. And whilst we're on the subject of talking about things getting worse, point number 5 is notifications, which seems to have gone downhill massively. Even WhatsApp notifications, something that I thought worked really well upon release, have become way less reliable now. I honestly cannot work out what is making the Galaxy Watch Ultra decide whether to show a notification or not. Let me know in the comment section if you've had issues with the notifications as well. Anyway, point number 6 is the rotating bezel. I know Samsung have moved this to their classic lineup, but it just doesn't make sense to me why this premium patented technology that arguably made the Galaxy Watch isn't actually coming to Samsung's most elite flagship smartwatch. Just feels like a missed opportunity. Samsung not innovating and pushing some of their best features leads me on to the 8th thing that frustrates me about the Galaxy Watch, and that is sleep tracking. Now, I maintain the Galaxy Watch Ultra gives you a great overall insight into your sleep, but it could definitely be better. Here's the part that frustrates me. Samsung have recently brought out all of these amazing AI features, and they already make use of your phone's microphone for sleep apnea detection. Why can't we use our phones to get more accurate sleep data throughout the night to really pick up when we are genuinely asleep and genuinely awake? Now, I know it feels like I've got a longer list of things that I don't like about the Galaxy Watch Ultra, but there's still so many things that I haven't even touched on yet, and that's because all of these features just work so well. Samsung Health, for example, has been great. It's super user-friendly. The steps tracking has been really reliable. The selection of workouts is brilliant in my opinion, and overall, the Galaxy Watch Ultra has been a smartwatch that I felt I can genuinely rely upon to keep an eye on my health, but also make drastic improvements to my life. My weight loss journey and discovering a new hobby that I've actually become kind of good at is the kind of testimony that no lab testing is ever going to be able to replicate for me. So would I still buy the Galaxy Watch Ultra after 2 years of usage, even with the Galaxy Watch Ultra 2 just around the corner? I mean, it's the easiest yes I could ever put out there. Even with everything that I've just moaned about, this is still a watch that I trust on my wrist every single day, and if mine died tomorrow, I'd go ahead and replace it without thinking about it. But let me be even more useful than that. If you've got a predictable charging routine and you're already in the Samsung world, this is such an easy recommendation, especially now you can usually find one for a fair bit less than what it launched at. If slow charging is a deal breaker for you, or you switch between different phones a lot, then just go with your eyes open on those two things. And sure, there's always something new around the corner, but a watch that's still this reliable and this capable 2 years down the line really tells you everything you need to know on whether it's built to last. Now, of course, if you're watching this video around the time of release, it makes perfect sense to wait another month or two to see what the Galaxy Watch Ultra 2 has in store, but this year Samsung are not going to be refreshing the Galaxy Watch Classic lineup, so you can see my latest review on the Galaxy Watch 8 Classic in the top left or right corner now. See you in the next one.